Welcome to the Fixer interview series. I've got Chris Hendricks here. He is a business benefits specialist. Chris, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me. Am I in the right place? Is my face framed the right way?
You are perfect.
All right.
Wanted to touch on a couple things on what got you in the industry, but what were you doing before you entered the insurance business and now you're entering the financial realm? What got you into the business and what excited you about it?
Well, that's quite a question. I was a performer for a little over a decade before I got into the insurance business, and now I'm dabbling in the financial business. But really, what brought me into it was my daughter, specifically the birth of my daughter. I loved being an entertainer, and I was paid well for it for a time. But you either master your finances and protect yourself from risk, or your finances master you and you wind up under a bridge. So I thought to myself, I would really rather not be under a bridge, and I'd really rather my family, my daughter, not be under a bridge. So I think I love people, and I'm going to figure out what industry I can utilize in order to connect with people, and insurance and finance just wound up being the best fit for me.
Yeah, well, great. Now, you also have a disability. How has that affected you in this business, going to businesses, and has it helped? Have you gotten more attention because of it, or has it hurt because things are naturally tougher with a disability? Or tell us about that.
Sure. Well, it depends on your perspective, right? So in certain ways, it's been tremendously valuable. I love the fact that me having a very visible condition happens to allow me to stand out more, particularly in a networking realm, even in a time of COVID, even when you're talking about Zoom connections. And also, we tend to be very adaptable. You know, persons with conditions come out of the womb figuring out how to live their best life. And, we don't have to wait until mom throws us out of the house to figure out how to live. So in that respect, having a condition has been really, really valuable. It's been a challenge, I would say, in that while the initial connections have been really strong and really meaningful, I tend to make everyone my friend.
Yeah.
It's hard to not do that in any relationship, really, but I think sometimes my condition allows for people to I don't know if maybe not take me as seriously is the right way to put it, but I can sometimes get a little walked over, when push comes to shove. And so that's a lesson that I'm learning, and I'm growing thicker skin as a result of it. So I'm liking the learning process, even though it's made it a little bit more challenging.
Gotcha. So a few years back is when you really made this shift into the insurance and financial realm. What sparked that interest, that motivation? You mentioned shifting from the music career and entertainment and coming into this. And you've really, I guess, grabbed a hold of your own finances, from at least what I can see. What really made that shift happen? I mean, was it a trigger, or was it simply a career move? You said, "No, what? This is a great fit for me."
Well, it was a couple things. Getting a hold of one's finances is not something that is taught properly in our current education system, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
And you have to really be blessed with someone who is close to you, or a family member that has the gall, for lack of a better word, to sit down with you and be straight with you when it comes to dollars and cents. And while I had it to a degree, finance has always been intimidating, or had always been intimidating to me to a degree, and I never thought I liked numbers. I was much more of a writer, songwriter, performer. That's where I come from.
Yeah.
But then I saw what utilizing the power of numbers could do for me and my family and my future. And regardless of where this industry takes me, my love of numbers went from you only need to know enough math to tip properly, all the way up to financial analysis and digging into business analysis and how business is built, and So really the knowledge that comes along with it, and the charts and just cash flow, financial management. It's a massive sigh of relief when you can take a look at that and have an understanding. So I went really from being completely blind as far as my direction and my growth to actually being able to see, and that's probably the biggest
It's really
reason
cool.
why the spark. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, most people, very few actually have an interest in learning the finances. Some are just completely turned off by it, and others go through that progression where you're unfamiliar with it, but you actually are going up that learning curve, and not just your own finances, but it's cool to see you in this business where you're able to help others with insurance and financial needs. Um, we're excited to be a part of your progression here. Um, Another question on, you've got a role through the state of North Carolina as an advocate for people with disabilities or conditions.
Yeah.
What's the end game? What are you able to accomplish, or what are you hoping to accomplish in that position?
Well, really, it's primarily a role of education. You know,
Okay.
persons with conditions tend to be viewed a certain way, and I hope to utilize this space as a policy education coordinator for the North Carolina Council on Developmental Disabilities, to maybe just help shift that perception, because we're a quite capable group.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of value, I think, that persons with conditions bring to the table that people without conditions have a hard time grabbing a hold of. You know, for instance, we tend to be very memorable. If relationships are the name of the game, I want people to remember me. I want people to remember me more so than the average Joe that maybe walks into the room, right? We tend to be more adaptable. We tend to be really loyal. But primarily there's a drive within the community of persons with conditions to succeed, and I think the best thing that we have going for us is that we're underestimated. And I would like to utilize my space in this position to remind persons with conditions that they have real, tangible value, that I think we all as a society should take a really, really good look at, because I think it's going to benefit individuals with disabilities as a whole, as well as society at large.
So. Yeah, I agree. I think certainly the last generation, and I hope the next generation, is really that transition from feeling like you said, undervalued, incapable, not recognized as serious or whatever you want to call it, to actually being just as capable. Now, some of that is we've entered the technology age, and a lot more of our skills and production can be done behind a computer.
Right.
And it's not as labor intensive. Even 20 years ago, most of the jobs had some degree of physicality to them. And not needing to be physically active in your job puts you, so to speak, at a level playing field with people who would otherwise have had that advantage or leg up on you. So I think I really like what you're doing. I think it's certainly something that should be progressed as we go forward.
Well, I might take it even a step further. I mean, I might suggest for any of you wild and crazy traders out there, you might want to look at our population as an extremely undervalued penny stock that's probably going to go to the moon in the next couple months.
So there you go.
So I'd pay real close attention to us as a group, because we cross all races, all gender, all creed, and all culture, and we are hungry and ready to contribute.
Great analogy. One other question on your role. You go into a lot of small businesses. You talk about voluntary benefits, group benefits, things they can do at work, whether it's 401k plans or whatever. What kind of company is your ideal prospect? Who can you help the most?
Well, really, the more physically laborious the company, I think the more value that I can bring, for a couple different reasons. And what I mean by that is, The trades where you've got to get your hands dirty no matter what. Electricians, HVAC, plumbing, things of that nature, blue collar businesses, or white collar businesses that are that go beyond sitting behind a desk. And the reason why I think I can bring a lot of value is not only do I feel that they are probably in need of benefits and understanding the most, but also, again, one of the benefits of having condition is I get to be a preview of coming attractions. I mean, sincerely, eventually, someone's going to get hit with the unlucky stick. It's just an aspect of reality, and what I do is mitigate risk. And either you're wise enough to mitigate that risk at little to no cost, or the disaster, the tragedy happens, and all of a sudden you're under a bridge. And that is my my dream is that through my success I can eliminate worry for any company that is willing to give me a chance. That's all it is just taking worry out of the equation so that you can focus on your business and the employees that you care about.
So if somebody watching this is a business owner or just works at a company and says, hey, we don't really have any benefits or it's limited, they should be contacting you. How do they contact you? What's the easiest way to get a hold of you?
Well, you can certainly email me, and I do benefits through multiple email addresses, but I'll just give you the personal ones. Just chendricksmusic@gmail.com. That's CHENDRICKS music@gmail.com. And the reason is I was given the nickname Singing Benefits Guy by somebody else,
That's
and
right.
it just kind of stuck. So if you have any nudes, shoot me an email there, or you can check out my website, www.iamchrishendricks.com. Beyond that, I review any benefits that you might have already in place for free $99. And if you want to save money on your payroll taxes, at the very, very least, I strongly suggest you give me a call, because any team member that signs up you're gonna be protecting them, and you're gonna be saving money when tax time rolls around, which is roughly nowish. So.
There you go. All right, thank you, Chris, for joining me. This is the Fixer Interview Series. I'm Justin Struble with BSG Advisors. I'm not a broker, I'm a fixer.